First, before I really get into the commentary, I apologize for the quality of the video, and you couldn't really understand what they were saying. And I don't know what it could have possibly been. I think it's hard for me to get the video from another place if it's not being downloaded, and I couldn't find the video online anywhere. It probably may be up now, but I don't know. And I wasn't able to get a good quality of what they were saying. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post the link to where I got the video from, which was on Twitter, and then you'll be able to understand what they said. But I'm gonna tell you what they did say in this video. And shout out to everybody who did send me this video. I think I got tagged in it about maybe 2 or 3 times. But in this video right here, you have 2 white girls, and they look like they may be in college. I'm not entirely sure at this point. That's besides the point. But in the video, what they were saying was niggers don't work, they stink, we need to whip them or bring back slavery so we can whip them so they can work, and all types of stuff like that. That's basically what they said in the video. The clip was only about 8 seconds long. Now you see why I titled the video "They Will Never Change." Like I said, they are not far removed from their ancestors or their ancestry whatsoever. And there was a study that came out a few months ago, I think back in February, where they stated that there were a lot of white women who did own slaves, and they mainly got the slaves after their husbands died, and that's basically what they left them. And they said that they were just as bad, if not worse, than the male slave master, because see, they were never in a position to own slaves. They could only do so much with them because the husband was the one that really had a tight reign on the slaves. But when the husband passed and he left everything to the mistress, or to the wife, however you want to put it, she went in. And you're seeing right here on display what they said they wish could happen. And I'm telling you, and I said this before, and a couple of other people have as well. I said, if you gave white people today a lot of money and land mass, if you gave them like what we're supposed to be getting in the form of reparations, if they was to get what we were supposed to get, they said all you have to do to get this money or get this land, or a combination of both, is to put black people that are here today back into slavery and chains and bondage. Many of them, or damn near all of them, would do it in a heartbeat. And you hear it right here with these 2 white girls. And now they look younger than me. Like, they have to be younger than me. And they're saying this. And that's what's going through their mind. I know many of them are going to say, oh, they are drunk, they're intoxicated. Look, there's a saying, a drunk mind speaks sober thoughts. See, they may not have said this while they were sober, but that liquor brought it up out of them. So I give kudos to whatever it is that they were sipping on, because they were definitely intoxicated while making this video. And then you heard the one girl at the end, who was the first one that had said niggers in the video, go and try to tell the other girl who said, we need to whip them because they don't like the work and they stink. The one who was really going in tried to tell her not to say it. But you just called us the N-word first before she did. It's just that you didn't go in saying, oh, they need to be put back into slavery and we need to whip them so they can work. This is how many of them feel. Can you imagine the discussions that they have when we're not around? This is this is a fantasy they have right now, but this is a reality that they want to go back to. I bet many of them, like these 2 right here, probably dream about this. I know many of them do. This is a reality that a fantasy, like I said, that they would want to bring back into being a reality. And if given the chance, they would definitely go back to it. Now, it's crazy because someone would tell me that putting this video out here is causing division. It most likely would be a troll. This is not causing division. This is bringing something to the forefront that we know many of them who say something about bringing division would not talk about, because they would rather it be hidden. Why do you think they didn't want us to learn how to read? Because a lot of their debauchery was in a lot of those books that were written, and most of it was, and a lot of the stuff that they wrote were a bunch of lies, and they didn't want us to figure it out. Or whenever we were giving something to read, we had to read from the Bible. And even with that, we were only allowed to read certain passages. Go back and look at Birth of a Nation. And I'm not talking about that original one. I'm talking about the one with Nat Turner on that Nate Parker did back in 2016. And it literally tells you right there. he could only read certain passages of that Bible. But when he figured out and was able to break that down, that's what led to him doing the revolt. But yeah, this doesn't surprise me in the least bit. And like I said, this is generational. When I tell you they are not far removed from their ancestors, I mean just that. I bet you if you went back into the history of every palm colored individual who says stuff like this or does something like with extreme hatred, I bet you will find that their ancestors, and I do mean all of them, wasn't shit. Because that's something that is passed down to them. They did not just learn this now. They've had that within them for a while now. And I'm talking about these two girls. It's just that it took liquor to bring it out of them. And I wonder if they have any black friends or, if whatever. I hope they see this. And if they do, one or two things need to happen. One, you need to not be friends with them anymore. And two, an ass whooping should suffice. Point blank, period. Because they just made an indictment on you and said what they wish they could do to you. And they just made a disrespectful tone, like a disrespectful statement upon your ancestors of what their ancestors did to yours. And they would never say this to their face. Never. They would never do that because they're weak. They're cowards. I don't care that they're women. They are some of the worst ones. Mainly because they didn't have the privileges to do what they really wanted because they were under the thumb of their man. But the minute that thumb came a little bit lifted, they went buck wild. They said that the last trick that a racist would use, specifically that white male racist would use, would be his woman. And that has been one of the truest statements that has ever been made. Because as you can see, you're looking at her right now. Now, these two girls right here are probably the type of people that would probably get an invite to the White House. They would probably get a job in Congress or law enforcement. They could be your next Betty Shelby's. And that would be that. But see, we don't even know who these girls are. We don't know their names. We can probably try to make something now based on one of them with her sweatshirt, because I think that has the school on it, so you can kind of tell where they go to school at. But I highly doubt nothing will happen to them. They'll just come out and say, well, we were just a little bit drunk. We didn't know what we were saying. Then they'll come out and give some weak apology. It won't be genuine. And then they'll blow over this entire thing like nothing happened. And then they'll just go on about their day. And then by next week, people will have forgotten about it. These are probably women, if they don't get high paying jobs, they may most likely work in HR. So they'll determine if you get hired or not. Or they'll determine if you get fired. But they sat up there and said, we need to bring back slavery and whip these niggers so they'll work, and they stink. So that's basically giving this indictment that black people are lazy and that we don't work. If you go back through history, some of the most laziest people, if not the laziest for the last 400 plus years that slavery was going on, was that white woman. At least with her man, at least he was in the field. He wasn't picking the cotton, but he was out there. All she did was sit on her ass. Now, how's that for being lazy? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you in the next one.